Hey guys, it's PMHK here, obviously, and in this video I wanted to talk to you guys about a question that I get asked all the time, and that question is, which phone should I buy? Should I buy an Android phone or should I buy an iPhone? Now on the table we have two different phones. We have the Samsung S9 Plus and we have the iPhone X. Now we are comparing these phones, or we're making these phones go head to head because these are basically the competitors. Now the iPhone was the one that was released first. This was released end of 2017 and the Samsung S9 Plus was released beginning of 2018. But in terms of feature, the Samsung is packing a 12 megapixel camera at the back, and it has a second camera below with variable aperture. It goes from 1.5 to 2.4 aperture, and it has a fingerprint sensor as well as the flash and a wireless charging capability at the back. Same goes for the iPhone. It has a 12 megapixel camera, and what is different is that the second camera in the iPhone is the telephoto camera, which is a 2.4 aperture camera, and it also comes with a wireless charging capability. Now the iPhone 10 is obviously using the Lightning connector, which is Apple's proprietary connection type. But when it comes to the Samsung, they're using USB-C, like most of the other actually companies have already switched to USB-C. Now the front here on the Samsung S9 Plus, you have a 6.2 OLED display, which in terms of quality, it's actually much higher than what you will get on the iPhone 10. That's why I actually love Samsung panels or OLED screens on their devices. At least the Note 9 and the Samsung S9 Plus has the screen as well. Now they also have a face unlock system together with the fingerprint unlock system that they have at the back. But one thing that actually, as I said, stands apart from this guy is how bright the screen gets. Now out of the box, it doesn't come turned on. It comes as a full HD feature on. Then you can just go there and actually activate the QHD OLED display feature, which is also going to drain your battery quite a lot. But also in terms of the brightness, you can actually come here and turn on the brightness, and as you get to the orange part, it actually, the first time you do it, it will actually going to give you a warning that you are setting it too high in terms of brightness. Now the iPhone 10 also has an OLED display. This is actually the first iPhone that they actually changed to the OLED display system, and the quality is also good, as long as much as it doesn't get as bright as the one on the Samsung S9 Plus. You're also gonna get a really good screen if you would be coming from any previous generation that of iPhones that came before the iPhone 10, and I'm talking about the iPhone 7, I'm talking about the iPhone 8 as well. Now in terms of features on the iPhone, you have the Face ID, and you actually don't get a fingerprint reader at the back. Now these are just some of the features that actually you guys might be interested on. At least these features are the ones that I'm interested on, but at the end of the day, these features are more likely similar to the ones you would get on the iPhone, on the Samsung S9 Plus. Now when it comes to choosing which phone you would get, this actually would come to personal preference, and that's what I always say. But for me, I always tend to keep both. I tend to keep one Apple device on one side and a Android device on the other side, because there are things that you can do on one device that you would find it very hard to do on the other device. An example would be actually posting on social media. Normally when I'm posting to Instagram especially, I'd rather post it using an Apple device than I use an Android device, because in terms of processing and all those things that happen in the background, you would find out that it's actually much better to do using the iPhone or the Apple devices. Now in terms of choosing which device you're gonna go with, you need to also look at what other devices you have around, let me say, your house. Now, this place is actually really Apple based, because I use an Apple MacBook mostly for me to actually do other work, and I also have an iPad. So I tend to incline more in the Apple sphere of things because of my surroundings, because of my ecosystem is mainly Apple. Now, if you have an ecosystem where you're using a Windows device, your laptop is Windows, and you also have maybe an Android tablet, I would say go with the Android devices and not the Apple, because it's gonna really come more in handy for you guys. And also, you'll need to remember that you are getting a much brighter screen when it comes to the Samsung device, and also in terms of the feature, there is more customization and on the Samsung S9 Plus, and this is one of the features that most Android users actually love, which is the customization function of the Galaxy devices, and also obviously you find it on the Galaxy S9. Now, the Apple device, where it wins is actually their ecosystem, as I mentioned before. Now, I have the iPhone 10 here. I also have an iPhone 10R that I've reviewed before. You guys can actually go and check that video out. And I also use an Apple Watch, and I also have an Apple AirPod. Now, for me, it would make sense for me to incline more here, as I said. And obviously, if you are Android based, you would change to this guy. Now, in terms of comparison of the devices, I would say they are actually both in the same weight in terms of features and just how they handle. And one more thing that actually makes me to incline more to the Apple ecosystem is when the phone is actually already getting old. Android devices tend to slow down a lot when it comes to that, and it will be in the sense that you're gonna have to restart and format your devices maybe after a year because the phone gets slow. And it's one thing that happened to my Nexus 6. The Nexus 6 right now is really slow, and once in a while I have to format and restart that guy so I can actually use the device properly. So in terms of choosing which device you're gonna go with, it's going to mainly depend on which ecosystem you are using, and also obviously personal preferences. I decide that I'm going to be using the iPhone as a main phone, and I use an Android device as a secondary phone, just because I have Apple dominant ecosystem in the house, so that's why I go with this guy. Now, let's take this conversation in the comments down below. I want to know from you guys, which phone are you guys more inclined to actually use? Is it Apple devices, or you are more inclined on Android devices? And yeah, so this is gonna be it for this video. I hope this video kind of helped you guys in if you are in the market of buying either an Apple device or an Android device for you guys to use. So make sure you guys actually subscribe to the channel, and make sure you give this video a like if it was of any help, and I will get you guys on my next video. Peace.